And do you remember some special message, some weird message that you received?
Most of it is like I have crying faces. So, they
Wow.
basically, I think the music moves them.
Pain. Lately, I've become very well acquainted with it. The type that comes when you've been hurt repeatedly by the same person.
Bienvenidos, amigues, a otra entrevista de Spoiler Tracks acá en Spoiler Time. Hoy tengo a George Kallis, compositor de la música de la tercera entrega de After, la saga After. La película es After We Well. George, how are you?
Very well, Andres. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. It's an honor to talk to you, and thank you so much for your time and for this interview.
Mm-hmm.
George, it's
great to be here.
Thank you so much. This is the third movie from the After saga. What did you know about this saga before working on this, and how do you get this project to score the new movie After We Fell?
Sure. To be perfectly honest, before I heard about the film, I wasn't so much aware. I'd heard of the books, but I was not so much aware of the films themselves because it's not so much my demographic. It's a little bit for younger audience. Unfortunately, I'm growing very much faster than I wanted to grow.
Yeah, I know.
But no, I mean, basically what happened was Castile London, the director, gave me a phone call a couple of months before she started shooting the film, saying, hey, I've got this, new exciting movie that I'll be, directing, and, would you want to send some music in for me to hear and for the producers to hear as well, to see whether you're, the right man for the job? I mean, I worked with Castile on 2 of her past movies, and we had a great collaboration. So I said, of course. I got very excited about it. She didn't describe exactly what the franchise was, or, she didn't say it was After, but she said, she described what the couples, the struggles, and, the couple was going struggles there, the intoxicating relationship, as you wish. And then, she asked me, to send some music. So coming out of the phone call, I realized that I didn't have any music that she was requesting. I was coming out from a long period of big orchestral scoring. So I figured that the best way to tackle it would be to spend the rest of the day composing specific music out of her description. So I wrote 2 pieces of music, and both those music. Am I still there?
Yes, you're there.
Both those were actually used in the film itself, and the producers really liked it. And when they came back from shooting the film, I got the call that I was being hired because they really loved the demos.
Great. I know that the director Castile London asked you to create a score that captured the deep sense of growth and maturity in the main characters have achieved since the first film, and keeping the soundscape of the existing films. How did you do it?
Yes, it was a bit tricky because we wanted to kickstart again the franchise in a sense, but also have some sort of sense of continuity from the previous films. So the way we did it was to establish the piano as the core instrument again, as it was in the previous film scored by Justin Burnett. And also make sure that the spotting, which means the music placement, really micro-focuses, I would say, on the characters and the feelings and their interactions together. So from the technical side, that's how it was accomplished. And what I did was I created a theme that was placed mostly in the lower register of the piano, which seemed to kind of address the need for maturity, because we've been with the couple for a long time now, and on this movie they're going through much more serious problems. We hear about Tessa's health problems. There's a third person that comes in between them. So we find out about her estranged father, and we see their interactions together. So it's a little bit darker. So the thematic material that I used was also being able to, be performed in a major key for the most warmer, scenes, but also in a minor key for, the darker situation as well. So that's how I tackled that kind of the connection and the change in this film.
Awesome. And the score from After We Fall is really beautiful. I heard piano, an orchestra, electronic elements. How was the process to create and to record these elements in the middle of the pandemic? Maybe, I think.
Yes, indeed. I was actually very thankful that these both movies, because I'm scoring I'm finishing up at the moment. They were shot right, with a pandemic and the way they did it. They were very calculating. They shot it in Bulgaria, and they made all the right kind of precautions, and everything was great. In terms of the recording process, I recorded everything here at a friend's studio, who has a really lovely piano, which is very close to my studio, and addressing the orchestra, we recorded remotely. So we recorded with a wonderful orchestra that I collaborate. It's called the Budapest Art Orchestra.
Wow.
So we prepared everything, all the parts, all the arrangements here. And then we send out, the music, and they have a fantastic conductor. I usually love to conduct. I feel like, I really feel like a musician when I'm in front of other musicians, but because of the pandemic, it was hard to travel.
Yeah.
But I think they did a wonderful job. They sent us the recordings, and we mixed it here. My friend Alvin Wee, he's a fantastic mixing engineer, did it. And yeah, we put everything together here.
Great. You did a great job. Tell me about your work for the main song, After Our Done. You compose, co-produce, and co-write the lyrics for this song with the singer Taylor Conrad.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, I had the idea pretty late in the scoring process. I was actually finishing the score, and having written a song with Castile before, or one of her previous movies, I said, well, the melody has kind of this tendency of becoming a song. I could hear it, and I threw an email to Castile saying, hey, what about like writing a song together? And she had already written some lyrics for the film, and she sent them to me, and then I started arranging and making the arrangement using the piano and various electronic elements. And we pitched the idea to the producers, who came back saying, that's awesome. And they suggested using Taylor as the performer, who has been with the franchise also. She was part of the production team for a while now. I think since the previous film. So she was very close to the whole universe of After. So she came in, and she already had a writing partner, Ryan Steves, a wonderful guy and very talented songwriter. So that team, together with my producers, who was Nico and George, we made sure that we wanted to make a song that cares about the fans and also cares about the situation of the couple. So we're talking about the kind of the magneticism of the interactions between them, but also that sometimes the poles reverse and they kind of go apart. So there's a lot of that in the lyrics.
Great. And I know this saga have a lot of fans. And talking about the fans, George, tell me about the message that you received from the fans of the saga over the world.
Oh, it was wonderful. I did not expect it. I mean, I was very much aware of at the very beginning of the passion the fans have, and the interaction that they love to have with the actors and even the producers and the director. So my aim from the very, very beginning was to be true to the franchise and to be true to the to the fans and have something very authentic that they can relate to. And once they watch the movie, they can go and listen to the soundtrack and listen to the song, and then get into that world, because they don't have the movie in front of them. Yeah. So that was the aim, and I was very much appreciative that I received, I would say hundreds of messages, from the fans saying thank you for going in this direction, and it's wonderful to be part of it.
And do you remember some special message, some weird message that you received?
Most of it is like I have crying faces, so they basically, I think the music moves them, so they have a series of crying faces, and then a lot of these emojis, which is like, thank you that you kind of made me moved by the music and the interaction of the music to the picture. So yeah, it's mostly that I find that there is a lot of emotional kind of reaction to the music.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. George, I love to do this answer to all the composers, and is you translate scenes and characters and feelings and more into music for scores. How does your brain work? How do you do that?
What is the scoring process, in a sense? Is that what you mean? To the picture?
Yes. To pictures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it really varies from film to film. Some films I don't even see the picture yet, and they send me the script, and through the script, you can get a lot, really inspired, and then go to the piano and start creating, a melody based on what you have read and the feelings that you have kind of accomplished through reading the script.
You always usually start on the piano to compose?
Most of the time, not always though. It really depends. It really depends on the needs of the film. Sometimes a film, like I did a satire comedy based in South America, not South America, in Middle America, in the US. Yes. And that is mostly geared to bluegrass music. So there's a lot of guitars, dobro guitars, slide guitars. So I went to the guitar, and I used my friend to do a lot of improvisations and pre-record. So he sent those recordings to me, and then I started arranging them together with basses. And so it really depends on the needs of the production. Like, for example, I'm working on a fantasy film for Disney at the moment. It's a Disney Russia film for the territory there. And that's completely a different process. I start working on my studio on the samples. So it's like I have a keyboard in front of me, and I have all the orchestra in the computer. So I start recording the strings immediately. I start, playing the French horns, and even the piano. I just record everything here because it's a faster process. But writing the melodies of the characters, or writing, the theme of the film, it's nicer to work on the piano first, because the piano is such a rich instrument. It kind of inspires you to compose and to explore melodies and different ostinatos and stuff like that.
Great, I got it. George, right now, who is your favorite score composer?
It's a very, very hard question. I go through different phases. One of my favorites is James Newton Howard. James Newton Howard, I find that he has a very particular emotion in his music. His melodies are not very long, but they're shorter, but they bring out such an amazing feeling when you're watching the screen, and when you're watching the characters, that I love to kind of try and emulate sometimes what he does, within my music. I mean, obviously, using my own notes, but trying to get that feeling in certain places. I mean, a lot of composers try and kind of get inspired by their idols as well. So definitely James Newton Howard, but I respect so many other composers. James Horner.
There is a lot.
There's a lot.
I know. Did you hear the Raya movie score from James Newton Howard, the Disney movie?
I haven't heard it yet, but I'd love to watch it. I'd love to watch it. It's been a bit hard the last few months. I've been stuck in the studio writing all day, and sometimes when you're composing all the time, you need your ears to rest sometimes. It's like I play tennis for my enjoyment, to get away from the studio. And I was speaking to my tennis coach, and he was saying that he loves to get away, play golf. He doesn't want to talk about tennis or do anything besides, only teaching. But so he doesn't watch tennis. So it's kind of the same thing, I suppose. When you're in a heavy scoring period, you want your ears to relax a little bit. But when I finish these movies, I try and go back and catch up with everything.
Great. George, to finish, what next for you, and what new project are you excited about?
Yes, I'm wrapping up After Ever Happy, which is the fourth film of the After franchise, and we're very excited.
Congrats for this.
Oh, thank you. We recorded the orchestra yesterday, and it sounded wonderful. And we are in the mixing stages right now. And at the same time, as I said before, I'm scoring the third film of the trilogy of The Last Warrior for Disney Russia. And that's also very exciting, because our ancient characters, which are knights and wizards and immortal people, are coming to modern times. So for me, it's very interesting to explore orchestral fantasy music together with contemporary music, like electric guitars, drums and electric basses and electronics. So
I can't wait to hear that.
Oh, thank you so much, Andre. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Wow, George, thank you so much for your time. Keep doing well. You're a great composer. Thank you.
Thank you, Andres. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Gracias, gente. Nos encontramos en una próxima entrevista acá en Spoiler Tracks de Spoiler Time. Bye, George.
Bye, Andre. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
You're my better player, Stas.